I went by the place where that strike happened, where that missile strike happened, and it's where all the embassies are at. The embassy of Mali, Ethiopia, Philippines, all these embassies are there. And where the strike happened was right next to a gas station. And so me and wifey, we were driving by and we were going to get out, but when we looked, they had that whole area under lockdown. There was security there. I was only able to see a small bit and it was just rubble. All right, so I'm out in Qatar right now, and me and wifey are going out. And one of the things that she was concerned about was 10, 12 days ago, 14 days ago, Israel struck Qatar. They performed a missile strike on Hamas militants. And a lot of the world was in uproar because these were the negotiating team for Hamas. And Qatar has been acting as a mediator between Israel and Hamas, being a neutral party in the situation. Now, the thing that made it so heinous was that the mediator is person that's not in it, right? They're not in it at all. All they're doing is just facilitating negotiations. And Hamas and Israel have been supposed to have been in negotiation. So when Israel has struck the Hamas negotiators in a neutral country, it's like, whoa, this opens up a whole new different dynamic in this conflict, because it's like, where does it stop? You know, the United States has good relations with Qatar. We just got done selling the Qatari military a bunch of F-15s, right? And the advanced versions of the F-15s. We have a large air base out here in Qatar. And so to have Israel strike Qatar without the US knowing, that adds a whole different dynamic. Qatar and the United States are friends. The United States has a relationship with Israel. Qatar doesn't have a real relationship with Israel. Qatar has a relationship with Hamas, well, somewhat of a relationship, but they were hosting a negotiating team. Qatar was facilitating the negotiation between Hamas. I went by the place where that strike happened, where that missile strike happened, and it's where all the embassies are at. The embassy of Mali, Ethiopia, Philippines, all these embassies are there, and all these people, the families of the diplomats and all those folks and their staff, all live in this particular area. And where the strike happened was right next to a gas station. And so me and wifey, we were driving by and we were going to get out, but when we looked, they had that whole area under lockdown. There was security there. I was only able to see a small bit and it was just rubble. Now, if you don't know anything about the buildings in Qatar and in the Middle East, those buildings are made out of concrete. They're made out of blocks. They're solid houses. They're not like houses in the United States. They're made out of like concrete blocks or solid concrete themselves. And so when I look there and all I see is just rubble, I'm like, yo. So I started doing some more research. I'm like, okay, did Israel violate the airspace, the sovereign airspace of Qatar? No, they didn't. But what they did do, I looked it up. What they did do is they used missiles, and they said it was like 8 of them. Missiles were launched from the F-15 and F-35 jets, and they flew into the upper atmosphere, or basically into space, and then descended onto the targets at hypersonic speed, evading Qatari and US Patriot air defense systems. All right? So they think that it was either the ISO-2 rocks, which is a known Israeli-launched ballistic missile developed by Rafael, noted for being fast, accurate, and capable of hitting targets at a very long range, or it was the Golden Horizon, which was unveiled as part of Israel's long-range weapons program. The thing that struck me about it was that, they launched this strike with that level of precision, where they were a few hundred miles away launching this strike, and these missiles hit with that level of precision. Missiles don't always strike their target, that's one. The targeting systems may not always work. They could be faulty and problems with the targeting system. So here it is that you have all these embassies and all these people that live in this area, all these innocent people that are in this area, and it was right next to a gas station. So the gas station could have been a major catastrophe if the gas station would have blown up as well. So Israel was willing to risk the lives and safety of everybody in that area. And this is the challenge that Israel is facing in the international community. And it almost feels like Israel is willing to divide the entire world. For what reason? It's debatable. But Israel has basically said, F you and everybody around you. If you got our ops there, it's F you and everybody around you. We don't care. We will go to any ends of the earth to rid the world of our enemies. And then the world is going to be looking like, okay, well, United States, Israel's supposed to be your boy, supposed to be your partner. We got international law. We have all these international courts. We have the United Nations. We have the International Court of Criminal Justice. We have all of this. At what point in time are you going to rein in Israel? At what bounds do you stop? This is the cold part. Israel used a weapon system that was able to evade US defenses that we have in the area that the Qatari government bought from us. Israel used a weapon system that defeated our defenses. And the United States is supposed to have the best defenses in the world. So Israel is willing to embarrass the United States. They're willing to violate international law. They're willing to strike a neutral third party, all in the name of eliminating their enemy. They're willing to alienate the United States. They're willing to do all of that. And this is why the world is a very scary place right now. Because of that, you have the actions of this government where people are going to look at the United States, people are going to look at the United States as weak, as uninfluential, that regardless of what the United States says, the United States can't protect them from Israel. It's like you bought a shield from the best shield maker in the world, and the one person that knows the weaknesses of that shield decided we're going to use it on those very people. The Israelis just showed that American defenses cannot stop hypersonic threats, cannot stop air-launched ballistic missiles. Goodness gracious. I was just like, yo, this is crazy. This is a very, very interesting time in world history. Very interesting time in world history. And a very concerning time in world history. Be on the lookout for even more. It's Dr. Jamar Montgomery here, giving you an update, giving my thoughts on this particular conflict. Y'all take care.